Hey everyone! Have you ever wondered why, every December, gamers across the globe pull all-nighters, chugging caffeine just to watch an award show? It's all because of the Game of the Year fever. But it wasn't always this polished. Before we had the Oscars for gaming as we know it today, the industry lived through the Wild West era of the Spike VGA Video Game Awards. Back then, it was on Spike TV, full of edgy marketing, weird celebrity sketches, and a rock-cancered vibe where the games sometimes felt like an afterthought. Everything changed in 2014 when Jeff Keighley, a man who basically lives and breathes this industry, restarted it all under the brand The Game Awards. Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane from 2003 to the present day. Let's see how our tastes, the tech, and the industry itself have evolved. Let's dive in. It sounds wild today, but the first ever GOTY was a football sim. Why? Michael Vick. He was so fast on the field, he was basically a legal cheat code. An entire state to explore, RPG-like stat building, and the legendary
Oh shit, here we go again.
It wasn't just a game, it was a cultural reset. This game didn't invent the shooter, but it pioneered the over-the-shoulder camera, a mechanic that has since become the gold standard for third-person action. It perfectly balanced tension with satisfying combat. The first major open-world RPG of the HD era. It brought high fantasy to the mainstream, with a massive world and a focus on player agency. It also gave us, for better or worse, the first famous piece of horse armor DLC. An immersive sim that proved shooters could tell complex, philosophical stories, the underwater city of Rapture, and its masterclass in environmental storytelling made this one of the most atmospheric games ever made. A more grounded and gritty take on Liberty City, it introduced incredible technical detail and a serious narrative about the weight of the past. A high watermark for realism in the 7th console generation. This game redefined the cinematic action-adventure. From the opening train sequence to the banter between characters, it felt like playing through a high-budget blockbuster that never let up on the pace. The definitive Western experience. It wasn't just GTA on horses, it was a deeply moving story about the end of the outlaw era. Its haunting atmosphere and tragic ending left a permanent mark on the industry. A cultural phenomenon that made RPGs accessible to everyone. Whether you were fighting dragons or just exploring the mountains, Skyrim offered a sense of scale and adventure that few games have ever matched. Even 15 years later, we're still modding it and clearing out those same caves. The first narrative-driven episodic game to win at this level. It proved that meaningful player choice and emotional investment could be just as powerful as high-octane action. The ultimate swan song for its console generation, with 3 playable protagonists and a massive living world, it became one of the best-selling pieces of entertainment in history. The final chord of the Spike VGA era, and a game that still hasn't left the sales charts, a true titan of the industry. The first winner of the newly branded Game Awards, Dragons, Intrigue, and BioWare's attempt to reclaim their throne as the kings of RPGs. It brought back the epic scale of high fantasy, and managed to bridge the gap between old-school RPG depth and modern action. Geralt of Rivia. Honestly, what is there left to say? The side quests in this game became the gold standard that most studios still can't reach today. It showed that side content could be just as meaningful as the main story, creating a world that felt lived in and deeply reactive. A major shift toward team-based hero-focused shooters, it combined vibrant art with tight competitive gameplay and became a massive entry point for the esports scene. Total freedom. See a mountain, climb it, see a tree, chop it down. By trusting the player to explore without hand-holding, Nintendo completely refreshed the open-world games and made discovery feel magical again. A bold reinvention of a legendary icon. By focusing on the relationship between a father and son, it turned a rage-filled anti-hero into one of the most compelling characters in modern gaming. A deeply personal story that managed to beat out even RDR2. Precision-based combat at its finest. It moved away from traditional RPG stats and focused entirely on the player's skill and timing. A grueling but incredibly satisfying experience. A technically and narratively ambitious project that pushed the limits of the hardware, a game that makes you hate and then makes you care. It told a difficult story about the cycle of violence that sparked intense conversation across the entire community. A rare co-op-only masterpiece. It proved that there is still a massive market for shared experiences by delivering a constantly changing, creative, and heartfelt adventure. Pure joy for 2 players. Dark Souls in a massive world. The successful evolution of the Souls formula into a massive open world. It offered unparalleled freedom and a sense of mystery that kept players talking for months. Infinite possibilities. You can save the world or romance a bear. Larian proved that old-school RPGs can be cooler than any blockbuster. Its incredible reactivity and high production values showed that complex systems can still be massive hits. A celebration of pure, unadulterated fun. It's a tactile and creative platformer that pays homage to decades of gaming history, reminding us why we fell in love with this hobby in the first place. The biggest surprise of the year, that managed to outshine even Death Stranding 2. A stunning debut that revitalized the turn-based genre with high-end visuals and reactive combat. It proved that a fresh perspective from a new studio could stand tall among the biggest giants in the industry. And there you have it. Over 20 years of gaming history, all in one list. But a trophy is only part of the story. The real game of the year is the one that stayed with you. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.